Hi, Chief. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chief William Morris. I'm the Chief of Manhattan South. Just going to give you some preliminary information about what we have at this point regarding this incident today. At about 3:30 this afternoon, we received a 911 call for a male who was scaling the outside glass here at Trump Towers. The address here is 725 Fifth Avenue. Responding units from Midtown North came, and they observed a male on the outside of the atrium, which is approximately the 4th floor of this location. The responding units secured the interior of the Trump Towers, working with private security here, then also utilizing additional resources from patrol, and also the Strategic Response Group and the Critical Response Command, and also including the Traffic Management Center. We extended our perimeter beyond the building to the outside area in this vicinity. Once we had stabilized that perimeter, we requested the fire department and the emergency service unit. The emergency service unit, under the command of Chief Giordano, responded to the scene, took tactical control of the situation, and commenced operations.
Yeah, upon responding to the job, we got it as a jumper. Somebody attempted to jump from the building. Emergency service personnel responded. Our first contact was on the 5th floor above the atrium. We were able to establish break a vent window and establish some type of dialogue. We then secured 3 jumper airbags and numerous amount of equipment for a high-angle rescue job. The individual continued to ascend and go vertical and horizontal at different times, at which time what we tried to do is try to isolate and contain him to a point where we would give us a tactical advantage to take him into custody. We wanted to proceed slow. We didn't want the individual to fall, so we wanted to do it in the most safe manner as possible. We got to a point where we came up with a very good plan with the emergency service personnel who were on the scene. We wanted to remove some of the glass and, again, try to prevent him from ascending any further up. We had some assistance from some glaciers that were on the scene, that we brought to the scene. They were very instrumental in assisting us in removing the panes of glass, also utilizing a scaffolding and lowering some of the VSU personnel on the side of the building all the way from the 55th floor down, again, to isolate him to a point where he no longer had the advantage of ascending. Once we removed the panes of glass and he got to a point where his only way to ascend was to go pretty much through a probably 2 feet pane of glass between the scaffolding and the officers that were at the window on the 21st floor. We pretty much advised them that putting his suction cups and all weight on that window would possibly cause it to crack. Again, that information, the glaciers was very influential in providing that information to us. And then once he proceeded to pretty much ignore that and tried to ascend, Detective Williams and Detective Walker found they were in the opportune moment to tactically take advantage of that opportunity and bring that individual into safety through the window. All right, Lieutenant Lasitra was the ranking supervisor at the location, as well as Inspector Galvin and Inspector Finnegan, who were actually coordinating with me on the 21st floor. So again, we had a real good plan between ground operations and tactical operations on the level where the individual was climbing, to take that person into custody and in a safe and most efficient manner as possible. And this, go ahead.
Chief Bill Aubrey, Chief of Manhattan South Detectives. This individual is a 20-year-old individual from Virginia. He came up here yesterday. He's staying at a local hotel. What he explained to us is that he wanted a personal meeting with Mr. Trump, and he posted a YouTube video on Tuesday. That YouTube video explains that he's an independent researcher, and he wanted to meet with him, and that's the reason why he was climbing this building. At no time did he express that he wanted to hurt anybody. His sole intention was to meet with Mr. Trump. It took 3 hours to get him in custody, and upon getting him in custody, he explained the same thing, that he wanted Mr. Trump's attention, and he wanted a meeting.
Okay, any questions? We'll take some questions. What was in the backpack?
In the backpack were what we got from him were the 5 suction cups. We have identification that we recovered from him. His various identifications. He was explaining that He previously went by one name, and now he goes by a different name. We're researching that. We're looking into that. It's part of the investigation. What's that? He's taken to Bellevue Hospital. He's going to be psychologically evaluated, and he's going to be placed under arrest. We're working with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to determine the appropriate charges. I'm sorry, what? Yes. We're looking into that. The suction cups could have gotten, he could have gotten them from any mountain climbing type facility or store. So that's part of the investigation. We're going to look into all of that.
Where was the Secret Service during all of this?
During the course of the operation, we were in a consultation with the Secret Service throughout.
With the building so secure, the Secret Service, they might be how the guys would get close to being able to climb up.
That matter's under investigation at this point.
We're talking about the moment where he's being swung in.
We talked to the detectives. Yeah, we'll get the rescuing officers.
As I said before, we were in consultation with the Secret Service throughout this operation. I would refer that question to the Secret Service.
We talked some about the moment that we brought him in, what you were waiting for, the situation you were waiting for, and how it presented itself.
Well, Chief Attorney General can speak about when the decision was made, and then he'll have the two officers.
That'd be great.
Well, again, the basic of this conversation that was said was he wanted to climb to the top so that he could talk to Mr. Trump. That was the basis of most of his conversation. But again, what we wanted to do was get to a point where we would have the advantage, again, to be in close enough proximity to safely secure him and take him into custody without endangering any of the officers, and again, endangering even his life. So when he got to the point, like I said, when he was on that pane of window, where if he would have put all his weight, there was a possibility he could have cracked. All right, Chris Williams and Dave Walker, again, felt that that was an opportune moment, all right, for them to make that rescue and bring him into the location.
Could you talk about that moment, what you were waiting for, what you were looking for, and how you took advantage of it?
I was waiting for the perfect time to present itself when I felt it was safe for him and myself and my crew, so that when that time came, I did talk to my crew and let them know, listen, he's at a level where I am able to grab him safely and bring him in. When it presented itself, I reached out, I took hold of his hand, and I said, sir, you need to come with me. And I brought him inside with the help of my partner, and we placed him in custody and handed him over to EMS. He thought about it. He didn't have much to say at that point.
What happened inside the building? Was there a scuffle? Did you have to rustle around and like that? Or did you go peacefully?
No, sir. He went peacefully.
Talk about the conversations you had with him as he was climbing up. What were you saying to him? What was he saying back to you? You saw some moments when you were lowering the hook down and you were having some talks. What were those conversations?
I was lowering the safety line to him to explain to him he should lock himself in. God forbid something happened. He was climbing for a while, and I could see that he was getting tired. And I said, if you lock this in, at least if you get tired, we will have you, and you won't fall. And he refused to take the line. His thing was he wanted to go talk to Trump. My supervisor.
Did you guys realize that he was right below you when that glass was cut? Did it seem to almost fall right on top of you?
No. It was to the side of him. We take all precautions for everyone's safety.
When we made the decision, we initially made a decision. We actually took some glass, but he was in a position where I wasn't going to endanger him because he was off to the side. Once he swung over to the other side, again, a plan was developed upstairs that we couldn't do that anymore. So again, the concept was to remove the window panes, and again, this would provide safety for not only him but also the officers and anybody below that were in rescue operations. So that decision was subsequently made based upon where he was and our ability now to contain him and isolate him to that location.
Thank you, Chief. Thanks all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Press conference from the NYPD on the man who was scaling Trump Tower. They said, look, he just wanted a personal meeting with Mr. Trump. He is currently being evaluated for psychiatric reasons at a hospital in New York, and they have arrested him. 20 years old man from Virginia. Boris, I want to talk more about the emails, but first, you were in the building this afternoon when this happened. Someone else who was in the building was telling me about a spiral notebook with a message that he was